All right, so hello everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Look, you all, I'm super excited to be here with you all again for another episode of the Epic series. And look, if this is your first time ever hearing me or seeing me, I am Carlika Katrina Basnight-Menendez. Yes, all of that. And look, we have a phenomenal guest joining us all the way. Look, we went to the same HBCU. Behold the green and gold. Look, can't hide that Norfolk State pride. And so I am excited to chat with her. And the thing is, we didn't even know we went to the same school, you all, right? And so that is definitely amazing. And so as you all come on, look, make sure you're saying, hey, hi, hello, say something when you up in the room. Speak, tell someone else, hey, let them know, say, hey, girl, how you doing? It's Friday, y'all, and I am so excited and thankful. And so you're probably like, what in the world is Epic all about? If this is your first time. Now, if you've been joining us since March the 8th, then you already know what Epic is. And if you know what it is, type it in the comments. But for those who are tuning in, just joining, this is your first time, it means faith it, right? What are you believing for? Right? What are you believing for? And then number two, facing it. We all have challenges, but it's about how are you going to respond to that challenge? How are you going to respond to what they said, what they did? If you got to know the door was slammed in front of your face, whatever the case, or even going all the way back to your childhood, how are you responding? And then the third F means fulfill it. Are you committed to fulfilling your purpose? Or are you just sitting waiting on the sidelines? Or are you waiting for the perfect moment? Lean on in and let me tell you, there ain't no perfect moment. Go ahead and jump in and get started. Why? Because now is your time. Today is your day, right? And you fill in the blank, whatever that looks like. But now is your time. Today is your day. And look, you all, if you're looking for a community of women who are saying, girl, I'm praying for you, I'm pushing you, and I'm praising you. I'm going to cheer you on. I'm going to root you. I'm going to tell you congratulations. I'm going to tell you, you better do it. You can't stop. Keep going. Then I want to invite you to Women Who Pray. What did I say? Women Who Pray. And you all, this community of women, I mean, they praying for each other. We are praying for each other and connecting in the spirit realm. And so I just love WWP, and you all, we are creating our first book project. Super excited. 90 women, 90 prayers. Yes, you heard me. 90 women, 90 prayers. So when someone tell you women can't work together, women can't get along, it's not all women, right? Don't categorize all the women. Some of us are collaborating and doing some amazing things. And we only have 5 spots left. 5. So look, if that's you and you want to join, just inbox me or send an email and just say WWP, and I'll get that information right over to you. Lastly, on May 17th, we have our Epic Boot Camp, and you all, the testimonials, reviews, and everything from the boot campers who've already attended. They have taken the leap. They are stepping out. They're doing some amazing things. I'm talking about from creating their business, increasing their income, right? All from saying, you know what, this push right here catapulted me to go ahead and do it. Some were feeling stagnant and they're like, I needed this right here to get me out of this place of stuckness, right? That ain't even a word, but I just said a place of being stuck. Right. And so that is what it's all about. And so if that's you, I invite you. No pressure, no pressure, no pressure. I just invite you and give you the invitation to take part of this program. All right, you all. So I'm going to bring our guest on. Miss Aisha Martin is in the building. Hello, Aisha.
Hello. How you doing?
I am doing amazing. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm so happy to be here talking to you.
Look, I anticipated this all day. I was like, it is always amazing to connect with people, which is very few for me. Kind of, sort of, like you see people from, but it's very few sometimes to connect with other people that you didn't even know went to Norfolk State, didn't even know they was in the same vicinity, in the same city. And you're like, you went to Norfolk State too?
Right.
So you know Brown Hall, and you know the science building, and you know, and it's like, so yes. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself before. Well, let me tell them this. 5 things you all should know. And you all know I've been asking all of our guests, only 5. They have some amazing bios. I've heard some of them. But look, I know you're probably like, look, we don't really want to hear all the stuff in the bio. So I had them pick out 5 things, just 5. And for some people, they was like, Carly, that was so hard to do because sometimes we only talk about ourselves or reading about it. But look, you did it. And so Aisha, she's a scientist, you all, author and speaker. She's a STEMness, right? And so I'm all about science. That's what my background is in, science. So I love it. She was raised overseas. She speaks German, and she is the founder and CEO of the STEMness brand and Stems for Stems. And so you all, let's welcome Aisha definitely in. So Aisha, tell us a little, so you was raised overseas.
Yes. So I actually didn't come to the United States until I was 17 years old. And that's how I ended up actually at Norfolk State, because I begged my parents. My mom had a sister who was living in Hampton. And I begged her to graduate in the States because, you know, of all the things that I used to watch on TV, like The Cosby Show and 90210 and Saved by the Bell. And that's what I thought high school was like. And so I begged them, please, please let me, you know, go to the United States and graduate because you're ruining my life over here. You know, this is where it's at in the US. And I ended up in Hampton, Virginia. It was nothing like TV. That was just television. But, you know, I met some great people, and I actually applied to go to Xavier University in New Orleans. I got accepted. That was my top school because, you know, I was all about pre-med. I really wanted to go to Xavier University because they are at the top of the game when it comes to science and putting people in med school. But unfortunately, that particular year, there was way too many freshmen. So I didn't have a dorm. And I told my parents, it's all good. You know, I can just get an apartment off campus. They said, oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. You will not get an apartment in New Orleans by yourself. So, you know, my parents wouldn't let me be great because I was in, you know, in the Hampton area already, you know, Hampton Roads. I said, well, you know, let me go to Norfolk State because I didn't want to sit out of college for that semester. You know, my friends were starting school. I was excited. So that's how I ended up in Norfolk State. But I'm so happy that I went because I met amazing people that I'm still in touch with to this day. And like you said, I didn't know that you were a Spartan. And I'm always bumping into Spartans and not even knowing. And if it's weird because we were there at the same time. A lot of the people I met were on at the exact same time. But yeah, that's how I ended up there. I eventually transferred to Clark Atlanta. So I went from being a Spartan to a Panther, but I have love for both places. I am always going to be a Spartan. That's where, you know, my journey started, and my heart will always be there, always green in the gold.
Yes, the gold, the green, and the gold.
And the gold,
green and the gold. So look, you all, if we have any Spartan family out there, hey, y'all, hey. And so, yes, I love Norfolk State. I had excellent professors and different things in the science department. I just love Dr. Duncan. Like
Dr. Duncan. Oh my goodness. Dr. Duncan.
Love Dr. Duncan. And so
yes.
Yeah, one of my faves, just one of my faves. And so, yeah, so that is amazing. And so you said you speak German. So what country were you raised in?
Primarily Germany. When I was about 2 weeks old, I was born in Pennsylvania. I don't know anything about the place at all. I just came out in Pennsylvania, but when I was about 2 weeks old, we moved to Germany, and that's where I stayed until about, I think it was 8th grade. 8th grade, we moved to Belgium. And Belgium was actually where I moved from when I took that journey to Hampton, Virginia. And so being around all those different cultures and languages, especially Germany, which is where I stayed the longest, that's how I was able to pick up the language. And a lot of people find that strange because, you know, looking at somebody, you don't know what language they speak. And I like to play with people sometimes, especially when I know they speak German. I'll listen to the conversations. And then until I feel like I need to jump in, and it's happened a lot. Sometimes they were talking about me, sometimes they weren't. Sometimes I got busted talking about someone, you know, a friend of mine. We were talking about this guy and how cute he was in German, not knowing he spoke German. So it's like, you never know.
You never know
who speaks a language, because he turned around, he was blushing and smiling and said, thank you. And our mouths just fell open because come to find out, his dad was American, his mom was German. So he understood our whole conversation. So you never know. You never know who speaks what language. So let that be a lesson to everybody.
That's why we have to be careful, because that to me is a valid point, where
Right.
we don't know, where you assume that people. Now, I didn't grow up in Germany. I was born in Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh, okay.
But due to the military, but I don't know any German. I wish we probably would have stayed over there longer, just for cultural, just getting that diversity in just another country and culture. But hey, look, that is amazing, amazing.
Thank
so
you.
Look, be careful. Look, lesson number one that we taking from this: be careful, because you never know what language someone may speak. You never know if they're just fluent in. You never know if they picked up the words and was like, okay, right. So, I love that. That just goes to say, you know what? Never assume. Right?
Don't ever assume.
Don't ever assume anything, because you'll be looking like Aisha was like, oh, so you understood me.
Every word.
I love it. I love it. And so
we laughed about it afterwards. We actually became friends. But every word.
Wow. And so you all, that's a journey, Aisha, in itself, to, you know, come over to the States. Once again, though, she assumed by TV. She assumed on TV that United States and Hampton, Virginia, and all of these things, due to the Cosby Show and all these different sitcoms. But that was, I'm sure that was like a huge because I lived in 757. I'm like, yeah, I know you had a huge reality check. Like,
you know, people talk about it. Yeah, people talk about it going the other way, having a culture shock when they go to another country. But as I said to someone else I was speaking with, I was born in the United States. I just didn't grow up in the United States. So I felt like a foreigner in my land of birth. It was a total culture shock for me. I had no driver's license. Things that I was able to do in Europe, I couldn't do here because I wasn't old enough, which was a shock to me because, you know, in Europe, it was no big deal, especially not having a driver's license. It was no big deal. We could catch the train where we wanted to go, kind of like being in Atlanta with the MARTA train. We had something similar in Germany. You had mopeds. I mean, having a driver's license was no big deal. Even the drinking age is different. Here in the United States, it's 21. Over there, you have children who might have, and let me not say children, you'll have 17, 18-year-olds, you know, maybe 19, who may have a glass of wine with their parents. It's not looked at crazy because you don't have a lot of drinking and driving going on over there. And these people are in the confinements of their home, or they're, again, at dinner with their parents. So things like that, 24-hour stores. We didn't have that in Europe. So for me to come to the United States and say, I can go to Walmart 24 hours, like it doesn't close, you know, things like that. In Europe, when that store closes, if you didn't get what you needed, too bad. You got to wait till the next day. Too bad. You know, things like that.
It's amazing how some of the small things that a lot of times we take for granted, like I think for a lot of people, when Walmart finally post-pandemic or during the pandemic, once they weren't open 24 hours, some people was just like, wow, I was so used to that. Used to being open, but I used to always say, I don't even know why they open 24 hours, because I used to work wee hours at the hospital, and I would go over there just to grab something or run over on my lunch break. And I'm like, me and two other people and like 5 workers in there, like, y'all could be saving so much money. So when the pandemic did shift it for them to be open till 10 o'clock and now 11 o'clock, I was like, y'all, that's ideal. If you did not grab what you needed during the day or before they close, you have to just wait.
Absolutely. All those type of things, you know, even the type of lunches we had at school were different. I had much better lunch in Europe than I had, and I'm not going to shout out the high school in Hampton, but much better lunch than we had at school in the United States. It was healthier. There were better choices. It was a culture shock to come to the United States and have the type of food that we had at lunch when I was used to something else, you know. But you know, when I think about it, all of the things that I took for granted, as you mentioned before, we take things for granted. I took for granted that I was in that environment. But being in that environment has helped me have a global mindset. It has helped me to be able to break bread with anybody. It has helped me to understand people better and understand different cultures, even different religions. They may not be a Christian like I am, but I can sit there and say, okay, well, I understand what you're talking about being a Hindu because I've been around people who practice Hinduism. So I get it. I've been around Catholics. I've been around all of these different types of people, you know, tasting different types of foods. So that has helped me in my professional life, not just personally, but also professionally. So I'm grateful to my parents. I wasn't at the time, but I'm grateful to them for that experience. It has helped me tremendously in my life.
I love it. I love it. I know my daughter and I, when we visited Spain, like a couple of years ago, when they shut down everything midday.
Yes. Yep. Siesta.
I was like, so.
And they're serious about it.
I mean, the streets were empty. I was like, where's everyone at? But then when it opened all back up for the evening, I was just like, everything's so lively. I guess everyone is refreshed. I don't know.
Right.
It was definitely different, but we enjoyed it.
And that's what they would do here. Yeah. Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
We definitely need to adopt that.
I love that. I thought that was strange too. I did. I thought that was strange. I've been to Spain many times, and that was a shock for us as well. But like you said, they come back more refreshed. They have a nice little break midday. If you need something during that time, too bad. They're not apologizing. Right. They are very unapologetic about siesta. You know, you just got to come back when it's done.
We thought we was getting ready to go to lunch and do something else, and everything, the doors was closing. I was like,
right,
something going on out here, but we just didn't know. But we went on back to the hotel. Like, okay, I guess when everything opened back up. But when everything opened back up, I said, wow, why don't we do this? Everyone need a little nap, need a little break, a refresher. Go back home for a little while and come back out and let's do round two or whatever. So it was definitely different, but we loved we loved it. And so you're right, we take those things for granted that we have accessible to us. We take for granted some of the small things, and so it gives us a greater appreciation for what we have, and then it make us look like, we still have some progress. Yes, we're appreciative, but we still have a ways to go for some progress. And so I love that. And so you say you're a scientist, and so what made you, have you always just known, look, I want to go into science? And then let us know a time, you know, in that journey, what was a struggle, the climb of that journey of saying, you know what, this is what I want to do. And from that, you've even created your own business as well.
Yes. Wow. Well, from the time I would say 5, 6, as early as that, anytime someone would ask me what I wanted to do, I would say I wanted to be a pediatrician and an actress. I did not know how I was going to do both of those things, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I know my parents can attest to this, especially my mom. I was always mixing up something, whether it was like the perfect combination of Kool-Aid, doing something. I've always been a STEM girl to my core, you know, always coming up with something, trying to build something, take it apart, put it back together. You know, my favorite game was Clue because I love to figure things out. I wanted to figure out who did it, you know, and I'm still that way to this day. Like, I love the ID channel and figuring out who committed the crime. So anything dealing with science and anything that was analytical, that required me to build something, mix something together, create something, you know, that's where my heart was. So I always knew I wanted to be doing something in science. The problem is I didn't have a mentor. And that led me to create Femmes for STEM, because I know what it was like to want to be in a field, to want to do something, but not have anybody out there who reached back into the community, especially someone who looked like me. Nobody was telling me all of the opportunities. In my mind, it was either go to med school or teach. I didn't know about cosmetic chemistry. I didn't know about coding. I didn't know anything about all the different types of engineer that there are, all those type of things, because nobody talked to us. And I didn't want that to be the same thing for girls in the future. So I have made it my mission to tell them all of the opportunities that are out there for them, because I want them to be informed. I want them to have the skills that I actually had to learn on the job. You know, there was a time where I thought twice about my career path. Speaking of Dr. Duncan, when we had to, oh my goodness, when we had to dissect. Now, I don't know about you, but that particular semester, I was so happy because we were supposed to dissect a rat, but the rat got lost in the mail and didn't come in time. I was so happy. I was so happy.
Look, ours didn't get lost. It ain't get lost.
I was like, thank you, Jesus, because you knew. Anything like that, I was raising my hand for the group. Like, I'll be the secretary. I'll take all the notes. I'll do the lab report. You all do that, because that to me was just disgusting. But we did have to do the frog and, you know, everything else. But that rat, oh my goodness, I was so happy.
You did the cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think there was something else. I forgot that professor's name, but there was it was zoology, and she had us doing. It was a cat. It was a mud puppy and something else. It might have been a shark or something.
Yep.
And I remember my group didn't finish, and so by this time I was off campus, and so I took it home. And I know my neighbors were looking like, "What is she doing?" Because I had all these animals in these plastic bags because we were working on my balcony. They never asked me, but their eyes were like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on in that apartment. What is she doing?" But it was a struggle. It was, you know, I won't even lie. It was a struggle. And I love HBCUs. I'm a product of an HBCU, but a lot of times we don't have the same resources that other schools have. So when I tell you, working at places like the CDC, Emory University, there was a lot I had to learn on the job. And I don't want girls who are trying to pursue this career field to have to go through that. So if I can help them have a resume before they even graduate high school, that's what I'm trying to do. I don't want them to have to learn PCR on the job like I did. I had to learn quick.
Wow.
Yeah. Because, you know, number one, there are not a lot of women of color in this field. We're few and far between. And so I always have felt like I had to prove myself even harder than my coworkers because, again, the representation wasn't there. Yeah. And things like that kind of at times made me want to go in a different direction. Like, I don't want to do this. This is just difficult. You know, I got to sit here and figure out what I'm doing on the job and learn quickly, or my job is going to go to someone else. I'm going to be replaced. Then I also have to figure out how to find my voice in meetings because I don't want to sound too angry. I don't want to sound like I am bossy or I'm, you know, having an attitude.
Right.
So all of those type of things, you know, do I dumb myself down?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But you're right. You provide the opportunity. You said something that really stuck out to me. Provide the opportunities. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, even when I think about in high school, science wasn't pushed like that. You know, you took the class, pass your class. All right, next. You take the science class that you need for 10th grade. All right, next. But it was never something like, especially for those who really loved it.
Right.
There was really nothing. I took honors classes and everything. And even in those classes, there was still nothing to say, hey, let's go over and see how we can partner and visit the medical school so you all can get more insight of the opportunities outside of just obtaining either a biology degree or just a chemistry degree or something like that.
Absolutely.
There was nothing. So you wasn't really afforded the opportunity to explore, to see what other possibilities are there. Even if I decide that I don't want to go to med school, there's so many other possibilities without having to go to med school, especially coming from people who are like, look, I can't even really afford med school like that.
Right.
Or I don't want to even be in debt behind going to med school. Or look, med school is not on my mind, but what other options are there for young ladies, especially women of color, right? You're right. My sister says the same thing. She's an attorney. She said, and for far too long, there were few of people that look like her in the atmosphere. Or they're like, well, oh, well, who's the attorney? And she's like, I am. And she's
Yep.
like, I guess because I look young and this, that, and third. Like, but I might be short, but I'm mighty. She's like, because I'm going in there to win the case or whatever. And so you also said having to almost feel like you have to prove yourself. I'm so over that stigma of, you hear all the time, hey, we got to over deliver. No, I don't have to over deliver. Like, I've gotten to the point now, I'm like, I don't over deliver. I don't have to over deliver. I just need to show up. I need to do what I'm supposed to do. I need to be me. And you're right. In the meetings, finding your voice, making sure it's not, like you said, too bossy, making sure I'm not the angry Black woman in the room and I don't even have an attitude or sounding like I'm volatile. And I'm not a bully. I'm not right. And all of these things, and to even have to deal with those type of things, even in the workplace, or your words be so misconstrued, and you're like, y'all got that from that? Literally, we're just having a conversation.
Exactly. I've been through all of that. I have been through all of that. When Hidden Figures came out, and that scene where he kept telling her, take your name off this report, take your name off the report. I've been through that. I've had a supervisor look me in my face and tell me, no, you can't put your name on this report. Yeah, I know you typed the entire thing. I know you did all the research in the lab for this report. But he felt that his name should go on the report, and only his name, when he went to present my findings, my scientific findings, to the higher ups. And so it was a battle because I refused to take my name off. I said, this is my intellectual property. You weren't in the lab, so you can't even really talk about the results. You don't know what happened in the lab. You weren't there. So my name is staying on this report. It was a battle. Trust me on that. I even had to battle other women, which I thought was ridiculous, because in my mind, we're here for the same purpose. We're fighting the same battle. So we really should not be battling each other. Right. But when you have a crab mentality, then that's what happens. So I've had to navigate through all of those things. So again, if I can prepare the next generation of STEM girls who are coming and make it a little bit easier for them and not have to go through the things that I've gone through, that is what I'm going to work on until my last breath. Because I don't want any of these young women to go through the things that I've had to go through in the lab, with contaminated samples or people purposely trying to make you look bad, all these type of things. And like you said, I'm over trying to prove myself because I really shouldn't have to. Right. I deserved a seat at the table. I deserved to be in all of those labs that I worked in. But I had a supervisor tell me to my face, oh, you're very nice. You get along with everybody on the team. You're organized. Why don't you think about being a secretary? You'll never be a scientist. This is not the career field for you. She told me that to my face. Wow. And so I smiled and I told her, that's your opinion. That's all it is. And you will see me again. And what happened? She saw me a year later and her face kind of just looked like, oh my goodness, I'm seeing a ghost, because I know she remembered that conversation. But we go through these trials and tribulations where people try to break your spirit and they try to tear you down. But my word for 2021 is alignment. And that is why you have to be in alignment with your divine assignment. If I didn't know who I was and whose I was, and if I didn't have the confidence, and if I wasn't unapologetic about what I was trying to do and my mission, my goals in life, they would have really broken me down.
They would have broken you down, and
all the way down.
You wouldn't even be able to accomplish the mission because you would have had on your mind that, am I really good enough to do this? Am I knowing that I'm qualified, but am I really good enough to do this? And so many times we do allow, or we do allow people to deter us from the mission. We do allow people to get us off the assignment, off the alignment, based upon their opinions, based upon their words, which are based upon their perception of us, which some of it is inferiority. Let's just put it out there. Some people are inferior when you step in the room and all you said was good morning. They're inferior because you came and showed up.
Absolutely.
That's being you, whether that's with makeup or no makeup on, with jewelry, no jewelry, heels, sneakers, whatever, scrubs on. Like, I'm telling you, it's crazy because it's not even like Like typically in the lab, you got on scrubs, you got lab
Right.
coats, different things on. You're sizing me up, and I have on scrubs just like you have on scrubs.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
You're right. Those words could have damaged you. And when someone feels like they're being bold, to me, you're not being bold. You're being a coward. When you're a coward if you can stand in front of someone's face and tell them something that negative.
Yes.
Without lifting them up.
And that's one, another reason why I'm happy, growing up in an environment where I was a minority. Let's just face it, in Europe, you have people of color over there. Either they're affiliated with the military or they're from Africa or somewhere else, but we are the minority. So for me, especially watching A Different World, that's really what led me to want to go to an HBCU. So I wanted to, I wanted that experience.
You need sitcoms, okay?
I know. That's all I had to go on, were the sitcoms. But watching A Different World and wanting to go to an HBCU, I'm glad that I went, because you hear that term HBCU pride thrown out all the time, but we really do have pride. We really do have that ingrained in us on campus, and that is what I took with me into the workforce. So as much as they tried to break me down, I was like, look here, I am a product of an HBCU. I have gone through all the things that we go through at HBCUs. Pride in who I am was instilled in me. Even though I may not have had the mentors that I, was looking for or needed, I did have good people around me, and good people who instilled in me to be strong, to be resilient, to have the wherewithal to know that you can conquer anything. It's like, thank God I don't look like what I've been through or what I'm going through. But a lot of that, came from my village, and it came from HBCU. So I'm grateful for that experience. I will always be grateful for it.
Your mission in itself, in wanting to say, what, I want to be that person to let these young ladies know that the possibilities are so endless, right?
Yes.
You may be saying, what, I don't even like science like that, but guess what? You can take this same attitude towards whatever industry or whatever thing that it is that you really love. That's the thing. Find what you love, because that's another thing that they're not really pushing in the schools, to nurture what it is that a student may love. Like, nurture what it is that you love to do, and then be the best at it. Always learning, always surrounding yourself with other people who are in that industry who don't mind taking you under their wing. It may not be science. It's just that both of our backgrounds are in science, right? But it may not be science. It could be art. It could be English. It could be whatever. It could be social studies, literature, whatever that is for you. Full-time entrepreneurship. Whatever that is for you, take that. But then once you feel like, okay, everything that I've learned, let me reach back and teach this to someone else. It gets me when people are like, well, I had to learn it, and now you have to learn. Okay, but
no.
Can you give me a few tips that might make it a little easier for me to learn? Or provide some resources. At least that's going to help me get there a little quicker than having me sit there and have to teach myself a whole bunch of things on my own. And so I love what you said about mentors. And I do see my 10-year-old, Joseph, he's a science fanatic. Do you understand me? He's always saying, I'm a scientist. He's been saying this since he was could talk. And he's fascinated with all things in science. I mean, all things, from the rocks, from geology, astrology. He loves it all. Okay, it's no narrow medium right now. He just loves it all. But he read books on it. He read books on animals. He's just intrigued by. He's studying the classifications of animals. Okay.
Wow. Okay. And I love that. And like you said, why make it harder for somebody else? I don't need to sit there and watch somebody stumble and fall when I can help them. They may not be into science, like you said, but maybe they are into art. I know lots of artists. So I want to link them together with that person so they can have that mentorship. They may be into, I've heard some parents complain, all they want to do is play with Legos. That's an engineer right there. Don't stop them from playing with Legos. you don't
Engineer,
know
architect,
what is going to be birthed from that.
they're you have to look beyond. They're builders.
Yes,
They're
yes,
engineers that have that insight of structure and all, but it's so many fields even with that.
yes,
And so I say mentorship is so important.
it is.
My oldest son, Jeremiah, he's an artist. No, he didn't like to play sports and all of these things, but he's a self-taught artist. But he's always, we knew he was going to be an artist. He was in kindergarten, he was so detailed. Like the teacher would be like, he's
Wow.
so detailed with his pictures that I have to stop him.
Wow.
Okay, we have to move on. But we knew then, I was like, okay, no. So then we just nurtured that. That's all people want for Christmas, markers and, canvases.
Yeah.
That's what give him what he wants. And now I look at some of his paintings and different things, and I'm just like, wow. But I love what you said. We have to surround people with the people that they need for that particular industry. Putting people in place with those people. Because I told him, I can't help. All your art look good to me. So I'm not the person. I'm not all of it. I don't have the eye. I don't know what I'm looking for. If it's not even the paint or something, I don't know what I'm looking for. But let me get you around some of the artists who are better in this particular area or who can pour into you in that. And so I say the same thing for girls in STEM. I love it. And so how long have you had Films for STEMs?
So I started that in July of 2015, and I was in Florida at the time. I went from Florida, I've been bouncing around a little bit, Florida, Houston. Now I'm back in the ATL, but I started that again specifically to give girls what I lacked and what I missed out on during my journey. So I started that in 2015. And then in 2020 is when I said, okay, I need like an umbrella for all of the different things that I'm trying to do. I need an umbrella for all this to fall under. So I said, let me create the STEMinist brand. So under the STEMinist brand will be Femmes for STEM, which is the nonprofit sector of the brand. Then I have the apparel, which I started off with the t-shirts that I have right now on my website. And a portion of those proceeds are going to be going into a scholarship fund, because that's something else we also miss out in the community, scholarship money. And you have students who want to go to school and they don't have the funds. And I want to be a part of the solution. I'm always that person where I don't want to bring additional problems. I like to bring solutions. And so for me, this is what I can do under the STEMinist brand, is to actually provide some money. So I'm working on that now. There are other things I have coming under the pipeline, which will all fall under the STEMinist brand. But all of it goes back to empowerment. It all goes back to empowerment and equipping them with the tools and the knowledge that they need to be successful in the field. All of that to me goes under the STEMinist brand, which again, I created last year in December.
I love it. And like you said, when it comes to the money portion, a lot of people do say, I can't afford to go. And I'm like, you can. We just got to find the money. And the thing is, it's money out there, but they're not telling people, even at these schools, there's so much money and different things just sitting there. And I said,
everything.
It's about your connections. It's about not being afraid to open up your mouth. It's about, hey, if I need to send a letter or an email to the vice president of the school, to whoever, I'm going to keep sending these things until something, where there's a will, there is a way. And we just have to tap.
Absolutely.
And of course, these students, look, do what you have to do. Do what you need to do so that you can set yourself up to be able to receive these funds, because a lot of this, it does come with stipulations and criteria, but set yourself up where you can receive these funds, right? I tell my kids all the time, no pressure, but set yourself up. So you don't have to go to school and be in debt. You don't have to have debt.
Thank you.
You have these $100,000 more scholarships and all these things. How do I know? My daughter received scholarships and all this stuff, but she set herself up during her time in school. Like, don't be in there playing. Get your work done. You grades. Okay.
Exactly. And that's important. And like you said something very important about connections. Connections are very, very important. putting yourself in position to receive those type of resources, assistance, and all those type of things is very important. You have time to play, you have time to laugh and do all those things, but get your work done. Be about the business. Be about the business. Because the money is out there, but a lot of times we don't know about it. We don't know that there are 4-year scholarships for chess, to play chess. And you have kids say, well, I don't want to play chess. That's for nerds. But those nerds are getting the money. So learn how to play chess. There are scholarships for riding horses. There are scholarships for being a left-handed person. There are so many scholarships out there, so much money that gets left on the table. I went to, it was a workshop for STEM, people in the STEM field, and STEM teachers. And they told me at that workshop that they had money that was just left on the table because people, I guess they looked at the name and saw agriculture and thought, okay, this is just for people who want to be farmers. I don't want to be a farmer. But there's so many other things you could do with agriculture. And they missed out on a 4-year scholarship, missed out on money because of that. But again, if they have someone to actually guide them and direct them in the right path, in the right way to go, they would know about that money. They would have access. But again,
I mean, from the schools, from corporations,
absolutely,
they have money sometimes because people don't. I think people sometimes, oh well, I'm telling you, a $500 scholarship it goes a long way.
Right,
$500 scholarship plus another $500 scholarship plus a $5,000 scholarship.
Yep.
It all adds up, but we have to. Yes. I love what you're doing because a lot of people, even the Bible says, we perish for the lack of knowledge. We don't know what we don't know. So a lot of people don't even know where to look for scholarships. They don't even know where to start. So to have an organization that's saying, look, if this is where you want to go, let me show you, hot flash, y'all. Let me show you possibilities. Let me show you where, look, let's find money. Let's find it.
Yes.
Everyone don't have patience to do research. Like it takes special people to do research and be intrigued.
Yes.
It's work.
Oh, yes, it is. And, and I don't sit here and profess to have all the answers, but like you said, it's about connections. It's aligning yourself with the right people, which is one of the reasons why, I recently became a member of an organization of all professional women. They're professional women, entrepreneurs, and, this Gamma Phi Delta. And one of the reasons I was so intrigued by this organization is because, number one, they support each other. You have a bunch of women who are supporting each other. They're supporting each other's businesses and supporting each other's endeavors. But one of the other things that I liked was that it was a community of different types of women. Again, those connections. You have women who are in media. You have women who are in finance. You have women who are in real estate. You have women who are also in the STEM fields, some scientists, engineers. So these are all women that I am now connected to, who I can learn from, but who can also make me a better person, but then also make my organization better, make my brand better, because they know some things that I don't know. I'm always learning, learning never stops. And to be surrounded by these women, I'm grateful to meet you, to have been in our little group, being ambassadors, because all of you, we support each other. I know you can attest to that. We support each other. We're always cheering each other on, but we all have different gifts. We have all different things that we bring to the table. And I'm constantly learning things from you and all the others in the ambassador group and watching you all flourish and grow. This is what I want for the next generation of young girls coming up. I want to see that, no, we don't always have to be fighting like you see on TV. We don't always have to be, rolling our eyes at each other and cutting each other down. No, it's okay to cheer for somebody else in their season. It's okay to cheer them on. It's okay to say, you go, girl, you're doing that. You are winning right now. Because while you are rooting for them and cheering them on in their season, your season is going to be so sweet. Yes. So I have no problem cheering you on and cheering, the others in our ambassador group on and cheering the women on in the organization. And any woman I see who's trying to make a difference and doing big things and doing things in their season and winning, because I know mine is about to be sweet. And I'm energetic about it.
I've always been that person where something good happened to someone else, you would think it was happening to me. because I'm going to get that same energy as if it was me. Because when we understand that we need each other, right? We all need each other in different areas of our life, in different seasons of our life. And once again, I'm just a strong believer in connect, build relationships to form partnerships. And a lot of people miss out on connecting because we assume, okay, either she thinks she's all of that, or we assume she doesn't want to be bothered. We assume instead of where you don't even know. Ask. I don't wait on people to invite me. I don't wait for anything. Look, if I want to work with someone, or I just put it, it's either yes or no. And if it's a no, it's okay. It's just not that season, or it's not meant to be. Keep it moving. No. But I love what you said. We're not here to tear down each other. We want the next generations and generations to come to see that, you know what, as all women can work together, we can work together for the greater good. It's not everyone that's out here who has a catty mentality or anything. And even the women out there that do, y'all, we don't even have no control over their personality or their characteristics that we have. So why are you getting yourself worked up? There's so many other women out here waiting to work with you. There's so many other women out here waiting to invite you to the table. Or, like I always say, you ain't being invited, create your own table. I create my own stuff and I invite people.
Basically, and that's like you said, you have people who are afraid to share platforms. Oh, because I don't want her to outshine me, whatever. We have to get out of that mentality, because we are so much stronger in numbers. We are so much stronger in numbers. Like you said, I don't wait for people to invite me. I don't wait for applause. There are posts that I have put out, things that I put out. One person liked it, 2 people liked it. There are things that I did where my name wasn't the one that was in bold. My name wasn't big, but then somebody reached out and said, you know what? I saw what you did at such and such event. Or I didn't even know they were watching, but someone is always watching. Always. I've had people tell me I'm crazy volunteering to work with somebody, not getting paid, but you're doing a lot of work. You're not getting paid for that. I'm getting paid in experience. I'm getting paid in knowledge. And this is stuff I'm using right now. So no, I didn't get paid in money, but sometimes it's not about money. Sometimes it's about getting that knowledge. Like you said, putting yourself out there. There are people that I volunteered with, and at first I'm thinking, well, they don't help because they look like they got it. And they were so grateful for me asking. And had I not opened my mouth, I would have missed out on so much. I would have missed out on meeting other great people. I would have missed out on that experience. I would have missed out on that knowledge, especially someone who is been in business, or someone who is like this master entrepreneur. I'm new to it. So I'm always trying to soak up things from people who have been in it for a long time. Like you said,
I agree.
Why make mistakes we don't have to?
And we have to open up our mouths, because sometimes we don't realize, even being the newbie on the block per se, there's a lot that people glean from us as well. Because I can tell you, I have not been in last December made 1 year. That's it. Yeah. But when we're obedient and doing exactly what God has called us to do, the people, the opportunities and everything, they will come. I have not forced anything. I listened to you when you said, I put a post, one person liked it. Let me tell you, I first started right on Facebook Live every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. doing Facebook Live, encouraging people, empowering people. And I didn't think nothing else. I didn't think anything else of it. Okay, this is what I'm going to do on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. I did not have a huge following. And this is for someone out there. You're waiting for, once again, that perfect moment. You're waiting for people to support you. Let me tell you, you have to put yourself out there consistently on a constant basis. And hey, this is what I offer. This is what I do. Because if people don't know, and if you're not telling them, why do I need to go deep and try to research to find out what you're doing? It should be right in front of my face, where I'm like, oh, okay, this is what he does. And if I gotta dig all the time, then you're not doing your job and being visible. You have to be visible. And so I'm all about that. I teach a course about awareness, visibility, and engagement. I remember my Facebook Lives. I had no followers. I invited people one time, Aisha, and that little ticking noise. I said, oh, I will never invite another person to this live again, because I was agitated at that. I was like, people sit and keep inviting people. I was like, I'm not getting rid of. I did it the one time only. After that, I did not invite anyone else to the live. I just kept putting it out there, and I kept showing up at every Wednesday at 6 p.m. I just kept showing up. Hey, midweek motivation, Wednesday, 6 p.m. I just kept showing up. So 0 viewers turned to 50 viewers to 100 viewers, and it just keeps growing. But then I don't get focused on those numbers, because I understand that my mission is greater than that. And you find people that get excuse me, you all, on the social media numbers. I check my numbers on the back end.
Right.
Now that's a little tip. Check your numbers on the back end, because though you might have got 1 like, on the back end, the reach might have been 566 people that actually saw the post. Because I'm telling you, I've had people tell me, oh, I watch your live videos. And I'm like, oh, you do? They'll never comment. They'll never share. They just soak it all up. So be it. I don't care. That's fine. And like you said, someone is always watching. You never know who's watching you all. I often say your character shows up even when you're not in the room. Let me say that. Your character shows up even when you're not in the room. People are mentioning your name even when you're not in the room. People are mentioning your name while you're sleeping. People are mentioning your name, and they are watching to see how you're going to move every day and what you're doing every day to see, okay, is she putting out an offer? Is she telling us what she's doing? Is she giving a tip? Is she giving a word of encouragement? Yep. What is she doing? What is she doing? So people are secretly stalking you. Okay, people are secretly stalking you. They may never like your post. They may never comment. They may never share. But trust me, they're telling someone about you. They're like, hey,
absolutely,
this young lady right here, she's doing some amazing things. I believe you should reach out to her. And I'm a living witness of it, because as we know, social media can get a little overwhelming.
Yeah,
we're doing all the platforms. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to build one platform at a time. Okay, so it was Facebook. Then I started dibbling, dabbling a little bit on Instagram. Okay, cool. No, I'm not no influencer according to the world's influence, but we're all influencers in who we're supposed to touch, right? We're not going to touch all the millions and billions of people, but we have a set people that we're going to impact on this while we're here. So then I moved over. I was like, okay, let me dib and dabble a little bit on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I have met some phenomenal women on LinkedIn. And I'm talking about women from the UK, from the Netherlands, from Australia. We have a lady coming on the show Monday who's from the Netherlands, right? But that was from a connection of speaking on a platform out of Spain, right? And so you nurture those relationships, you stay connected with those people. I always say, unless it's not a one and done, unless you want it to be a one and done. So take the ambassadors. Unless we just wanted to be a one and done, none of us would have stayed connected. It's that simple. Right. We would have stayed connected. Like, okay, we were all ambassadors. That's it. It was a discussion. Y'all have a good life. Best wishes. God bless you. Whatever you want to say. But we stay connected, and we see that right on social media, where most of us haven't even met in person. Not one day. Right. Not anyway. And so even today, and you all, I'm telling you, don't look so much at the numbers sometimes, because yes, it can get discouraging. You look at something like, well, how you getting like 200 and something, or 500 or 1,000 likes on this picture or whatever. I don't focus on that stuff, because look on the back end. Sometimes that back end number is like, oh, that many people saw this, or I reached that many people. Okay, I'm doing my job. I'm making people aware that I'm here. I'm making them aware of what I do. I'm making them aware of what I offer. And if we don't make them aware, we should not assume that they understand or know what we do.
Absolutely. I agree.
Don't be afraid to hop in people's inbox, but hop with some inbox etiquette, okay? Go please. Inbox etiquette. Please don't put in my inbox. Hey, you don't know what I need because you don't even know me. Introduce yourself. Let them know. Do your research where you've already researched their page. You like something that they're doing. You can something tie it in and connect so you can build a relationship. And so like we have Menopause and Mimosa Summit international virtual experience coming up this year. And so I was just on LinkedIn. I was like, okay, I'm just, looking for people in menopause. And one lady that I connected with today, I mean, we're going to speak on next Tuesday. Like I'm about taking action. Like, okay, find what you're looking for because it's out there. But rest assured, people are watching, but we have to be consistent, you all.
Yes.
Be consistent in showing up. I don't care what you're going through or whatever. I don't care if you say, look, I'm taking a sabbatical from social media. Well, you need to hire somebody to make that social media post for you, but stay relevant because look, the streets ain't loyal like that. You got to stay on people's mind and just making people aware. And you all, I'm not saying making people aware that you're selling something, but what you're doing, you're making them aware that this is an invitation for what I have going on. This is an invitation. This is what we're doing, keeping you abreast, keeping you on a point. But hey, we're here.
Yes.
We are here, and this is what we're doing. And so I love what you're doing with your organization because it's needed. It's
Thank
neat.
you.
You have more kids and young girls who are their minds are more inquisitive now, and they're looking to be more in the science and different things.
Mm-hmm.
So those things, those gifts, to me, it's a gift. Because it takes for people to want to know the why, right?
Yes.
I'm more of the why on like the biochemistry side. Like I want to know why your body is acting up. I'm not the nurse type who's like, okay, let me help you, let me give you your meds, all this stuff, and we appreciate all the nurses and everyone. I'm not negating any one profession for I get any inboxes like no, I'm just saying that field wasn't for me. I'm more of the person. Let me look in the microscope. Let me see what's going on. You have the fever. Not here goes some Tylenol. Bring it. Let's understand what's going on on the cellular level. And so I love it. And it's so needed.
Yeah,
is so needed.
I meet girls all the time, and I meet boys too. Like you said, don't slide into my inbox. Do not at me. I am all here for boys doing their thing in the STEM fields as well. But as a female who has been in the industry, I know it's hard for us. So that is why that is my ministry. That is my platform. It's for girls. And I've been that girl who sat in math class confused and didn't want to necessarily raise her hand because you're thinking, am I the only person that, doesn't know what's going on? Clueless, because I was embarrassed. But then come to find out, I'm not the only person that didn't know what was going on. Nobody wanted to raise their hand. So if I can help a girl who maybe she loves math, I loved geometry and trigonometry, but I hated algebra. I hated calculus, I didn't get it at all. Like my brain shut down in those classes.
I got
like, really? What's going on?
I got a straight headache in those classes.
Yes.
My daughter, on the other hand, she don't like science, but the math comes so easy.
Yes.
The math.
And so you have those different types of students.
I'm like, numbers gave me a headache.
Right. Like I did it because I had to. For the science major, we had to. But I didn't want to, but I had to, But I meet girls all the time. First of all, they have a certain idea in their head about what somebody in science looks like, somebody in technology looks like, engineering. And it's typically not me. It's somebody, with, broken glasses and,
old,
doesn't like to dress cute, somebody old, all these different type of things. So they look at me like, really? So that's also something that I love because I want to give them that representation. Yeah, you can be cute and still be in the field. You can still like to dress nice. You can,
you can still be a scientist and be stylish all at the same time.
All at the same time.
All at the same time.
Exactly. So I want them to see all of that. I want them to see themselves. And all of that is why I said I have to create this brand. I have to have this organization so they can see it's cool to do science. It's cool to love math. It is cool to draw. It's cool to want to build things or take them apart and rebuild them. All of that is cool. You don't have to be embarrassed by it. Right. It's cool. There's money in it. You love to play video games. there's something in that too. There's somebody behind the scenes who's creating that video game that you love so much. You like makeup. There's somebody behind the scenes. It's not that actress on the commercial. There's somebody in the lab creating that makeup that you love. So I want, these girls to see all of the possibilities. I want them to see themselves and to know that it's okay to love these things and be stylish and to be cute and to be smart. Because I met girls who were embarrassed to be the first person to turn in their work because they didn't want to be known as the smart girl. And I had to shut that down. Like, it's okay to be smart. Smart is cool. Yeah. You finished your work, turn in your work.
I did not have a problem turning in my work, my projects, and anything first. Here you go.
No.
And now I'm gonna sit right here and I'm gonna do this homework in other classes. So when I go home, I don't have nothing to do. So I love it. And that is something that needs to be pushed to say, you know what? I don't care if they call you a nerd. It's cool to be a nerd. I'll be that. That's what
exactly. Step up your game. Step up your game. That's all I'm saying.
If I gave you something to talk about, then so be it. But I'm gonna keep on going and keep on doing what I'm doing. And so keep doing what you're doing because it's so needed. Any way that I can support, just let me know. But you're right. I love what you said. The people on the cameras and stuff, they're not the ones in the lab.
No.
Getting colors together, getting this fragrance together. All of this is science, you all. Even when it comes to food, like people have to realize there's a science behind the food and everything. So everything boils down to science, you all. So someone had to mix all of those. Someone had to get the right formula. Right. But this is the thing we want to say to you all. God has given you the right formula when he created you. And so don't let anyone tell you otherwise, that you're dumb. Don't let them tell you otherwise, that you're not going to make it. Don't even tell yourself those things, because when God created you, he fearfully and wonderfully made you. And that was the perfect formula, just who you are. So what do you need to do? You don't need to over deliver. You don't need to overcompensate. You don't have to work harder and all of these different things. What you need to do is show up being authentically and unapologetically yourself. Keep learning. Surround yourself with some like-minded people who are saying, you know what, you got this. I'm here for you. Surround yourself with some people that don't mind putting you on the side of them and sitting you down with them with other people at the table. Don't surround yourself with people who are ashamed to call your name out in front of what we consider big wigs or other people. Surround yourself with like-minded people that saying, you know what? You need to invest in her. You need to connect with her, or you need to connect with her. And don't be that person. Don't be that person always stalking somebody and you have some resources that can be accessible to them. Don't be that person that's like, I don't think I'm going to tell them. Don't be that person. Open up your mouth. And if you have questions, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask your questions. Don't be afraid.
Absolutely.
So Aisha, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
I definitely respect your time. For those who tuned in with us on this episode, go ahead and hit that share button. If you have not done so, it's only going to take you like 2 seconds. So go ahead and hit the share button. We appreciate you all. It's Friday, you all, and we are having an F it up Friday, meaning we are faithing it, we are facing it, and we are fulfilling purpose, our God-given purpose. And that's what Aisha is doing with her Stems for STEM nonprofit organization and her feminist brand, you all. Stay tuned for all of the amazing things that she's doing. Check out her website that's right up here, www.aishanicole.com. She has merchandise and different things. So support, we talk about support, but we don't just talk about it. We live it and we do it, right? We do the support. So that's what we are all about. And look, if you're saying, hey, I want to be a guest, I want to share my story, I want to have you. Like I keep putting the invitation out there. I want to have you. Let's have a chat. It's simply just a girlfriend chat to see what you're up to, your journey, and all of those things. But you all make sure you connect with her across social media, Aisha Nicole. And look, Aisha, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your mission. Thank you for pouring into these young ladies to let them know that the possibilities are endless. There are limitless possibilities into what you want to do. And guess what? You all, she's creating a table. She's creating a legacy for these young ladies, because now they'll be the ones creating our makeup. They'll be the ones creating our businesses, they'll be the ones saying, oh yeah, I invented that.
Absolutely.
And it was all because I had a mentor who took me under her wing and said, you know what, we're going to find this money. We're going to do what we need to do.
Yep.
So that you can be successful in the film's STEM. And so Joyce, thank you so much. She says, blessings to you both. Thank you so much. Amazing information. Yes, Joyce, amazing. So to the parents and grandparents out there, right? You have that inquisitive child around the house. Quit telling them to leave stuff alone, right? Quit telling them be quiet and all of these things. Let them explore. Let them keep dreaming, because that's where a lot of us have failed at. We quit dreaming.
Yeah.
We quit thinking big. We quit imagining what the possibilities were and knowing that they were endless. So don't stop them, because you've stopped dreaming. And if you have stopped dreaming, guess what? It's now is your time. Today is your day. Start dreaming.
Absolutely.
It's never you're never too late. It doesn't matter how old you are or anything. It's never too late to dream. And so with that said, you all, Aisha, thank you once again for joining us. I appreciate you. Let me put your website back up here again. Ladies, make sure that you connect. Once again, if you have not shared this video out, you already know what to do. Go ahead and share. Wendy, what's going on, Wendy? She says, thank you, ladies. Yes, Aisha, the young ladies need to see themselves in you. That right there is a whole statement by itself. See themselves in you. Being a positive role model. And you all, she's not sugarcoating it. She's not telling them like, oh my God, it's just going to be the easiest path ever. No, you got to put in some work. And so I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. That was a powerful comment. Joyce, thank you. Blessings to you as well. So Aisha, be encouraged. Keep doing what you're doing. We're looking forward to all of the amazing things that your organization and your business is going to do and is doing. I'm excited to see where God takes it. Many blessings to these young ladies that you're going to impact their lives on a whole nother level. And this is just the beginning for you. You say, yes, I'm a newbie, but look, God is blessing the newbies. He's blessing the businesses. And so look, some people might say, oh, well, what are you really doing? It might be hard. Look, you stay in it. You stay in it and keep going no matter what. And any way that we can support you, just let us know, because I know how it is out here in the business streets. Sometimes it can feel a little lonely out here.
Yes. Thank you so much. Again, thank you for having me. Two of the things that I always say is that girls can be what they don't see, and that representation matters. And whatever I can do, like Wendy said, I appreciate you, Wendy, for saying that. I really want girls to see themselves in me and to know that there are endless possibilities. Like you said, the possibilities are endless. They just have to think big. Stop playing small, stop thinking small, broaden their horizons, open up their minds, but be willing to put in the work. It's not going to be an easy journey. I'm trying to make it easier for them, but there are going to be some challenges. But whatever I can do to help them overcome those and help them overcome them a lot sooner than what I had to do, that's what I'm here for. So yes, I encourage everybody to stay in touch with me, get connected on all social media platforms. Well, three platforms. Like you said, there's so many different platforms, but I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram and Twitter. LinkedIn is stay connected.
Yes, you all get connected with Aisha.
And congratulations to you too, Carlika. And
thank you.
What you're doing. It's amazing. You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much. I say it's no one in me. It's simply just being obedient. So I tell anyone out there listening, thank you, Bobby, Bob Mackey. We appreciate you. That be obedient to whatever God is telling you to do. And whatever he's telling you to do, trust me when I say the resources are there, the people are there, the connections are there. But what you have to do is get started. And once you get started, He's going to keep giving you puzzle pieces. He's going to keep giving you puzzle pieces
Absolutely.
along the journey. Believe me, the blueprint
Yeah.
is already made. God already knew this is what you were going to be doing. He already knew what Joyce is going to do, and Wendy and Yento and Bob and whoever else
Right.
is tuning in, or even if you're catching this in the replay. But whatever you do, get started. Get started. Everything is not going to be perfect, but you got to make progress. You have to get started. And even when the bumps in the roads, even when you get the no's, guess what? That no is another opportunity. It's a next opportunity.
Right.
Another door is going to open. It's not the end of the world, but be encouraged. Whatever is on your journey, you have to do it. Why? Because no one else can do it for you. No one else can do your purpose. No one else can do your purpose. So get started. I always ask the question, how much longer are you going to make someone wait because you acting scared? Right? How much longer are you going to make them wait? Because you have what they need. You have what they want. And so you all, happy Friday once again. F it up, meaning go out there and face it. Face it. Face your challenges head on and be committed to fulfilling your purpose. You all enjoy your Friday evening. Remember, when you change your perspective, you change your life. Let me say that again. When you change your perspective, you change your life. Why? Because whatever you think is what you're going to speak. And whatever you choose to speak is what you're going to do. And what you do is going to change the course of your life. So what are you going to do? You're going to get up and take some action. We're talking about massive action, right? Take massive action in your life. Starting when? Right now. Starting when? Today. Starting this weekend. Start now. Don't let anyone keep waiting. All right. So I will talk to you all later. Be blessed. Have an amazing weekend. Stay prayerful. Stay vigilant. Stay watchful. But relax, refresh yourself, and enjoy your time with family or whatever you're doing. Yes, go ahead and drop those F's in the comments. You already know how we do. Drop them in the comments because we are effing it up every single day of the week. We are faithing it. We are facing it, and we are fulfilling it. And y'all probably like, how many times she gonna say that? I have to keep saying it because someone catch it on the tail end. They like, did she just say F it? What's she talking about? Well, I just told you what we talking about. So drop those F's in the comments. Many blessings to you all. If you haven't shared the video, go ahead and share that out. I see the F is coming through. Make sure you connect with Aisha. There's her website again, and connect with her on social media platforms. And you all, we will talk to you later. Have an amazing Friday. I am Carlika Katrina Basnight-Menendez. Yes, all of that. And I'll talk to you all on Monday.